Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And I've gotten a couple of guests. Tonight's a little unusual. I really wasn't planning on doing a show tonight, but I am. So here we are. All right. And I got a couple of guys on. They're waiting. They're awesome guys. But before we go to that, please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And go check out the Oswald Chronicles currently on Kickstarter. There we go. And don't forget, tomorrow night, I'm interviewing Max DeVille, 8 p.m. I also just recently interviewed Doug Rice from Dynamo Joe fame, award-winning animator from Animaniacs. Yes. So Doug Rice, great interview, great guy. Go check that one out. Tomorrow, Max DeVille. Next weekend, full cast, full group, already booked up. So go check it out. And go check out the Oswald Chronicles. It's all in the show notes. And without further ado, let's bring on my regular co-host, this guy.
What's up, Streamland? I am JD Rosario from Unstoppable Comics. Hanging out with the fellas tonight.
All right, cool. And we brought on the other man with the plan.
What's going on? That's Marvin Wynn from the Edge comic. She's coming straight out of Comicsburg.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, gentlemen, like I said, it's just the three of us tonight, so it's kind of funky. You know, we I don't know if we're gonna go the regular
shower.
What happened?
What do you mean funky? I took a shower, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, thankfully.
Did you spritz?
Did you spritz?
Spritz scrubbed.
Just a little bit. Was it just a towel?
I air dry. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Cool. Did you have the stick with the thing?
Yeah, I got to. You got to show those 2,000 parts. You know.
Gotcha. All right. Nice. All right.
Did I date
right.
myself with that old commercial? Not
Yes.
many people are going to get that, right? Not many people remember.
Hey, listen, I didn't get it, so it's okay.
Really? Oh man. Okay. Get it.
No. So I just want to talk. Like I said, I talk about business. I don't know about you guys. I just got back from vacation, and when I got back, I was gone for like 5-6 days. Came back, I had 3 packages, 3 campaign packages from 3 different publishers, and I got 3 results. I got 1 perfect, no problems. That's A. B, a little bit of a problem. Okay, not that big a deal. Okay, nothing worth me jumping down nobody's up. And then I got C. That one, not due to the author's fault. My post person, they just leave it on my step, and they got caught in the rain. Right, so got caught in the rain. I got it. My sister-in-law was here. She picked up the package for me. She said, listen, I got caught in the rain. I was like, all right, whatever. Hopefully they packaged it in such a way that it wouldn't be an issue, right? I get home. I open it up. American Comics says, hail. Much chat. Anyway.
What's up, American Comics?
So I open that sucker up, and the main books are fine. But there's a third book in there that's on outside the bubble wrap, not inside of plastic, and it got wet. Now, the one thing is like it was something that I personally don't care about because it's not like the trade. It's not what I bought. I guess it was just an add-on. So I don't really care about it. You know, that one I could throw in the recycling, but it doesn't matter. But if it was something I cared about, this creator would be getting an email from me complaining about, hey, listen, what's going on with this? You know, this person has been doing campaigns for a while, so they should know how to pack these things. And the 2 main books packed well. There's some extra trash keys in there that were kind of nice. That was cool. But yeah, man, I mean, if you guys experienced anything like this, okay, Mr. Rosario, you feel free to answer when just don't nod your head there.
Yeah, I've been on, unfortunately, the giving end and the receiving end. The giving end because I was inexperienced in shipping. It was my very, very early campaigns until somebody complained. I really didn't know, and then I would send them a new one. But yeah, I used cheapo hard cardboard, not even hard cardboard, looser than lighter. The cardstock was lighter than a comic book backboard. Those tear tearaway things to open up, and it really didn't. Oh, you go, Raven. Look at that. Yeah.
You see, this is almost like the porn. It just pops up.
Yeah. I used those a few times, Marvin, and
Don't do it.
no, man,
No,
no.
don't do it.
That
Actually, that's not true. I've shipped in those.
Yeah.
But you know what I do?
what?
I put 2 thick pieces of cardboard. I put the book in between 2 pieces of thick cardboard, and I put it in there.
All you need is a stubborn mailman who
Right.
doesn't want to go to the door.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So not even that. So even like I said, that I put a book in something like this, and I bagged and boarded it, and they still found a way to crinkle the book.
Yeah.
Like when I got to the person, I was like, "Hey, did you get the book?" He's like, "Yeah, too bad it was damaged." Like that sucks. So even though this is rigid and you can put something in it, so I've got board right here. So even though I put this board in here, I'll even put 2 in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
No, I'm talking about like corrugated cardboard. I'm talking about like something thick.
Oh yeah,
So that's what you
I
gotta
use
use.
those now, right? I don't use the Gemini mailers. I go to Uline, I buy in bulk, and I buy a nice mail. I think it's a 11 quarter.
That's the one I use.
Bro. That's
and it
exactly it.
protects the book perfectly. Like it has like a gap. So there's
Hell yeah. So the one thing that I do to protect from the rain, right? Let's go back to the post office because they are good for some things.
Yeah.
And they give away those free priority envelopes. They're not Mylar, but they are waterproof, right? And you can also order the bubble wrap stuff as well for free, like $0.99. You know what I mean? Wow, that joke came out so wrong. Free 99, free 99, $0, right? And with what Marvin just showed us, right? There's definitely enough space to put something in there, with that bag around it, just fold it around the books, and it keeps it waterproof. So even though the book, the box will get damaged, the contents inside won't. Yes, you're going to bag and board. Excuse me, not everybody bags and board. You recommend bagging and boarding, but you're bagging and boarding, and you're just protecting it for the people that bought the stuff from you, right? I mean, you got to fulfill a contract, and the terms of sale are from the second I put my money down to the second I get it, it's gonna be protected, right? And you want them to come back. That's another thing. It comes back to retaining your customers.
Right. I've gotten packages that fell in like it looks like it fell into a puddle, and then they picked it up and put it into a plastic bag, said it was wet, and then still send it to me. I'm like, no, man, I don't want that. It's not garbage. The whole, like every book in there, because none of the books are bag and boarded, were all wet.
That's bad.
I was able to contact the person that shipped it, and they shipped more books out. But I mean, there's certain situations where the post office needs to take responsibility for the crap they do sometimes.
Not gonna happen.
I worked there. I know. I did some crap.
I do too. Yeah. 18 years of logistics. Pain in the ass, man.
Yeah, they were like, throw the mail. All right. Signs and break it, and stuff goes falling.
Yeah.
I mean, so the second package came in one of those envelopes that you just showed, Marvin.
Yeah.
Right. Came in that, bagged and boarded. Now, what happened was it had a little crink in it. Nothing terrible. It's the sort of thing that I can lay underneath a pile of books. It'll flatten out just fine. It'll be perfect. There's going to be nothing wrong with it. But I would again advise putting in a piece of cardboard. And I'm not talking about a piece of chipboard. I'm talking about a piece of cardboard. And if you could get the what is that? The double wall cardboard, and just sandwich it between it, and you just shove it in there. Because I've done that with books, and they've gone to wherever they've gone to just fine.
I would say that just assume that your postal carrier, or before it even gets to the postal carrier, is going to use that box like it's a hockey puck.
Yes.
Somebody's in the back of a truck and they're playing hockey in the back of the truck, and just assume that, or they're going to try to fit it into a mailbox.
Yes.
Push this up and put it into this mailbox.
And
So just assume that shenanigans are going to happen from point A to point B, and just protect the books.
there's one mentality, and it's I got to get rid of this as quickly as possible and move on to the next. So how am I going to do it without spending more time here and without taking any more space that I need to take up?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, I worked for FedEx, and they showed us a video of the process, right? Because we would sell a service to package boxes, and they were like, this is the process. So you have to be sure you package it so it survives this process. And I'm pretty damn sure that the United States Postal Service is no gentler than FedEx is, because it's pretty damn brutal.
Oh, I want to recommend to everyone who recycles their Amazon boxes. Awesome. God bless. Great that you're recycling, right? Good. And you're also saving money because you're not spending money on getting more boxes. But guess what? That piece of Amazon tape that you did not open up, that wears off, right? So just throw another piece of tape on that other back end bottom of that Amazon package that you're recycling to use, just so you can keep the box securely closed. All right.
And there's a thing called H-taping where you tape the edges.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it that's the best way to secure it is H-taping. But here's one that I have to point out. Nita's mail carrier actually tried to bend one of JD's box Oswald packages.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she said that the mail carrier, so it's about that wide, and she got like one end bent and got it into wherever wherever it had to go. And she said, if it wasn't for the bubble wrap I put on the book, it would have been destroyed. So I don't know.
I got to compliment the mail carrier strength.
According to Nita, this lady hates her. So she's in there. She's like, get it in there.
Up the ire of the mail carrier. That's a bad.
Yeah, man.
Your packages might end up in the woods next.
Seriously. Yeah.
Well, I got horror stories. I just can't say it online. You know what I mean? I gotta do that stuff behind closed doors.
I'm pretty sure I know those ones because they showed us a video and they showed like people skimming money out of birthday cards.
Yeah.
They showed people throwing like whole entire bags of mail into the woods or into the sewer. Like, I'm not delivering this today into the sewer.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, I've heard of those. Yeah.
Right. I worked in an unload at UPS. Shit is getting tossed. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
If you can.
So guys, look. Aside from this whole thing with the shipping thing, which is cool because it's part of the business that we're in, and we're always suggesting, but it's easy.
Oh yeah.
Bag and board, bubble wrap. Put that sucker in a small box like Marvin showed, Uline or what was that thing called? What's that thing everybody uses? The other type of box.
The clamshell boxes like this?
A Gemini?
These clamshell boxes?
No, the other one. I think Marvin, what did you say?
Gemini.
Oh yeah, Gemini. Yeah. So you can send a Gemini mailer. I think Raging, they got their new code up. I think they get 10% off. I think they're getting 10% off now. So if you want to order Geminis, go check out Raging. That you can get the discount code from there. Make Nita nice and happy.
Yeah, I've got them all. I've got those ones. I've got the clamshells. I stacked up on boxes, and I've got like the priority boxes over in the corner in case I usually use those. And they're like, so you're free. You can order them right from the post office website. I asked for 10 bundles. They sent me 100.
Yeah.
So there's 100 bundles of boxes sitting out in front of my door. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like 10. I asked for 10.
The person dropping it off was pissed.
Yeah.
Because I would have been. I'm like, this motherfucker.
So like my storage unit is filled with priority mailboxes though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
you're paying for free stuff, dude.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, look, the faster you use them, the more money you're gonna make.
Yeah.
Right? So
I mean, but they come in handy because it's if it fits, it ships. So it's a flat rate. And I just shipped like 60 books to a store. And the weight of it would have been like $30-$40 to ship it regularly. So I was like, oh, let me just throw them in this priority box. Oh, look, it's $15.
Nice. Well, that's good.
Yeah, see that stuff. That stuff is the free stuff, right? But we're paying for like the Geminis or the Uline stuff. And what a lot of people don't understand is they got a budget for that, right? Those, from a business standpoint, those are called perishables. And people, we come into this from the creative side, right? We're not coming into this with business degrees and the acumen to understand all the levels of business, but you learn as you go, right? And you find out perishables are a big part of the business, and we're dealing with that every day. Like when you're going to, let's just say, for example, McDonald's, all right? People think the napkins, they're free. The ketchup packets are free. The coffee stirs, whatever, that's free. No, man, right? There's some accountants out there breaking all that stuff down by the half cent into every order, right? So you're paying for that stuff.
Right.
But
I mean, that's the reason why they don't keep the ketchup and things on the counter anymore. Right. It's behind the counter. You have to ask for it because people are like, let me just grab a handful of this and go.
Right. And we need to apply that thinking to what we do as well, right? We need to account for perishables in the orders. And we don't. And, I go back to so many times, there's no school for publishing comic books, right?
Yeah.
This is it.
This is it, right? You learn the hard way. You learn by losing money, right? And something as simple as shipping and handling, right? We see that, we've heard that almost our entire lives, but we forget, oh my God, what actually falls into that handling. And the handling are those perishables. It's the, it's the gas that we use to drop off the packages at the post office or the UPS store, right? The extra stuff that we are buying, the tape, the paper, and we got to break that down to our order. And if you're not putting that into your budget of either your campaign or what you're doing for that quarter or what you're doing for that year, you're selling yourself short. Right. You are, because we're so small. Every penny counts.
Yeah, you can cut off a little bit of that if you do it smartly. So if you go on the post office website, they do pickup during normal business days. So you can schedule a pickup. So I actually pulled my mailman aside and I asked him, I said that, so I'm doing a Kickstarter. You ever heard of it? He said, no. So I explained to him what a Kickstarter was. And I said, I'm going to have 50 to 100 packages. Would you feel comfortable with me doing pickup for that? He said, no. But he said, if I was to do it over days and not just one time, he said that would be fine.
Right.
So, I mean, cut out, you can almost cut out drop off if you just talk to your mail carrier and say, hey, I got all these packages I need to send. What are you comfortable with picking up from me at a time? I did 10 one day, and he said that was
fine. Usually if you schedule a pickup, I don't know where you're at, right? The LLVs, they're the small postal trucks that they drive on the opposite side, but then you've got the bigger ones, the UPS ones. They call those 2 tons, and it's usually out here in the city in New York. It's the 2 tons that pick up packages and stuff like that. So if you schedule pickups, it's that group of people that should be going to your door and grabbing their pickups for the day, the stuff you're sending out, the priority packages.
I mean, I tested and I see, like, I did 10, now I'll try 15. Then I'll probably say 20, and then he'll probably say, what the hell's wrong?
Right. But if you got a good one, dude, they'll drop off what they call the number 1 bags. So that way everything is packed and separated. This is your priority stuff. This is your first class stuff. This is your medium mail stuff. And they'll just yank it and they'll rock and roll. Another good thing is tip them. And, that tipping.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Tip your mailman? Really?
Yeah. They
I mean, it doesn't have to be money either, like snacks or food.
Dude,
or
water on them hot days helps the hell. Yeah, man.
Like I said, if you have someone who's willing to work with you, like I see him all the time, we talk all the time. So I mean, he's a friendly guy. He's cool. He knows my name. I know his name. So if you're going to have, it's a working relationship. So you have to put something into that to get something back. And if someone is willing to pick up packages from you in the 10s, 20s, then you have to take care of him, because then he will be willing to work with you on those kind of things. So I can approach him and say, hey, can you do 30 maybe one day? And he'll probably say, yeah, it's fine, just do it.
Or pick you up on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know, and not forget you.
Yeah.
And that's key, because if you're running a small business and you got that constant flow of products you're shipping out, you need to make sure that person's going to be here, whether it's at a set time or set day.
Right.
But I want to talk about what Daphne's talking about. And yeah, you know, stamps.com, I use that. I know people do Pirate Ship, and I know there's another online
ShipStation is what I'm using right
ShipStation. Okay. So I don't know about the other two, but I know on my last campaign shipping stuff out, stamps.com was promoting their new contract with UPS.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got 72% off shipping with UPS. So I was sending stuff that would have been, you know, $14-15 through the post office, and using stamps.com in the comparing section, you know, it was coming out to about $9 and change. That's almost a $5 swing. And
yeah, Daphne was telling me that where it really was significant, shipping internationally. She said the international prices were good, $10-15 cheaper.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Pirate Ship had a deal for that, because they were doing drop ships. So they were gathering up a bunch of stuff and then shipping it to a drop location and then filtering out from there for international.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which company was that?
ShipStation, you said, right?
The other one. Pirate Ship.
Oh, Pirate Ship. Okay.
Yeah. They made a big announcement about it a couple months ago.
Well, Stamps does that as well, you know. Mm-hmm. And I mean, sending stuff to Canada and Japan on my last campaign was the same price. It was $21.
I think people get scared off of Stamps because you have to pay a monthly fee.
Yeah.
So ShipStation and Pirate Ship don't charge a fee.
Gotcha.
And now ShipStation is integrated with PayPal, so it's just it already has all your PayPal invoices and things in there. And most of the time, from my store, is using PayPal unless someone uses a credit card, which then uses Square. Mm-hmm. So all those things are integrated together. So I just got to click one button, put in the dimensions of the package, or like use my template, and it's good to go. Yeah. And then I got, like I said, I got this label printer. So I'm not using any ink, so I'm saving money on ink. So this one, all I have to buy is labels for this. So it's all laser. So I mean, I'm saving a lot of money on ink, on paper, and everything else now too.
Mm-hmm. If it's one of the round ones, I think if you got a contract with UPS, they'll send you, or FedEx, they'll send you the labels for free.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you got a contract.
Yeah, I got it on Amazon. I think I got it. It was actually popped up in one of their sales. I think I paid like $70 for it.
Okay, yeah. I think that's what that's about.
Yeah, it's high volume. So I mean, it's like if I don't have to buy ink, like ink is cost what? I mean, how many printouts do you get before you have to change your ink cartridges?
See, but going back, that's perishable, right?
Yeah.
That's part of your perishables, and your perishables are stuff you got to apply for your budget that you are not going to make money on, but you have to constantly spend money on that stuff. So yes, so your thermal printer, your labels, your scale, all these things, right? Your tools, your utilities, that's broken down within the course of your budget, of building your budget. Excuse me.
Yeah, I recommend that if you're doing a lot, I would dump the inkjet printer and then go with a thermal printer. It's
nice.
Yeah, it's like I press a button and it's like zip done. Whenever I was printing them on the printer, it's like
Yep.
And then I have to cut it out and then do all the others garbage. Like I just want to peel it off, stick it on the box, and done.
Until you peel it off in a rush and it curls up and then it goes back on the bottom. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, but the good news is that I only spent 10 cents on that label. Yeah. So I just put another 10-cent label in there and just print it again.
There you go.
How much that ink probably cost me $1 every time I have to reprint.
Seriously. Yeah, those things suck. But Daphne says getting a label printer was a game changer for her. And she says the convenience and time-saving stamps.com makes the monthly fees worth it. It's just another cost of doing business. People need to stop being cheap in the wrong places.
Yeah. People need to stop being cheap in the wrong places. Yes.
Because you'll see people spend, I don't know, thousands of dollars on covers and stuff, but they'll give you some of the crappier shipping on the planet. It's just like, what the hell are you doing?
I know.
Right?
I know. And I think those are the people, unfortunately, that are more creative driven than understand the entire umbrella, the entire scope of what you got to do.
In that case, that's where one of the problems you're going to run into is that you probably need to hire somebody if you can't do it. So
Yes.
you need immediate assistance with your logistics.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if
I mean,
they're trying to nickel and dime, you think they're going to spend money on hiring people that are going to figure
Yeah,
out the nickels and dimes for them?
$10,000 on that cover.
right. I mean, look. I mean, if you're going to be in this game for any type of time as a self-publisher, you're going to figure it out. You have to.
Oh yeah.
You have no choice. You know,
Hell
you can't. You know, it's not like this. There's a lot of heads that I've encountered. They're very into getting publishers. The publishers handle a good deal of stuff, but if you're going to do it all on your own, I mean, you gotta know this stuff, and you got to get really good at it really fast.
Right.
You know, else you're going to get burnt out. Now, gentlemen, the question of the night. Question of the night. Is there money to be made in indie comics? Right?
That's loaded.
Yes, it is. Yeah. That's what it needs to be unpacked. That's a big one.
I think we go long answer yes, short answer no.
Right.
Because of just the things we were talking about with logistics.
Right.
So let's say I'm a single proprietor. I'm not using a publisher. I'm publishing myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling my book for $5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing print on demand. My print costs are what, $230, $250. So right there, yeah, I'm hitting $250 right there. That's my cut. I'm getting 250%.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you add in boxes, paper, ink, if you're not going to buy a thermal printer, so your cost of doing business, now you're at $1.
Mm-hmm.
Now you ship the book shoddily. The person doesn't like it. They contact you, say, "Hey, this came to me shoddily." Now you just lost $5.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in the hole. So what you're looking for is a way to cut costs at the beginning, which is printing costs. You have to get printing costs under $1 if you can. $1.50, $1.25 is good. 80 cents is better. If you can print at 80 cents, you got enough books. So you're printing 1,000 to 2,000 books already. You got enough books for your store. You got enough books for conventions. You got enough books for incidentals. That's the long answer. Is the only way you can do it. If you're doing it the other way, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose badly because you're going to burn yourself out at the end of the year when you do your taxes and you're like, "Holy crap, I lost $3,000."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, welcome to the hobby, kids.
Yeah.
That's the teaching moment for people who are jumping in here. They need to understand what they're doing.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you're just talking about the straightforward of printing, shipping, right? We haven't even got into the cost of artists. I'm a writer.
Yeah.
Jay's a writer. You're a writer, right? We have to pay our artists.
Yeah.
Out of pocket.
You got to pay the collaborators. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. What you mean collaborate? No, I'm only joking.
Yeah.
I got to collaborate and listen. Collaborate.
Yeah. Look, is there money to be made here? Yes. Are you going to get rich? I haven't. I'm not out here, living the life, and I'll say this all the time, living the life of mansions and Maseratis. No.
I don't know, bro. I see that Gundam figure behind you, or that
I don't know.
Whatever that figure is, what I mean?
Last time we were on the show together, I saw you burning $100 bills on a cigar. Right? That wasn't anybody else. I saw
that was the Patreon episode. People got to pay to see that shit, bro. Come on. I talk about a lot of business aspects, not just the creative stuff. And I am not against POD. All right. I want to lay that out here from the beginning. I'm not against POD, but for me, the difference between POD and offset printing is you're trading short-term sales for long-term growth, right? Marvin, you brought this up for a second. And yes, with offset printing, you're going to bring down that cost per unit. And you were talking about incidentals. You got to look at shrink, right? And JD and I come from a big retail environment, big box stores, stuff like that. And Shrink levels, vary from store to store, right? But shrink is pretty much, in my opinion, you're taking 10% of your books off the top. Those are going to be your incidentals. Those are going to be your free and comp copies, right? Because guess what? You got a collaboration team. They want units too. All right, folks. And if you are doing print on demand, you're not able to distribute more than maybe 1 or 2 copies to each one in your collaboration team. But if you're doing offset printing, you could hand them a stack of 25 or 50 units because you printed up anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 units at 80 cents a pop. And they're happy. They can do conventions. They can spread out to their friends and families. They can do small little free comic book days with their copies. And at the end of the day, your product is getting out there, right? It's getting out there to more people. That's what you want, I think, at the end of the day. If you want to make money here, you gotta suck it up and you gotta fucking learn, and you gotta learn those expensive lessons. And when you're losing money, chalk it up to, oh, I can't believe I blew all this money. No, chalk it up to, you know what? I paid this much for this education. I paid for this master class of experience. And the only way you're going to retain that information is when you're losing money. Because nothing scares you straight than hemorrhaging hundreds at a time.
Yeah.
Forget hundreds. Thousands.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to, be alliterative, right? Hundreds, hemorrhage, blah.
All right, well, look, I'm going to read these off real quick. Dav says, nothing is more frustrating than paying premium for a book on a Kickstarter and seeing creators try to spend as little as possible on shipping.
Yeah.
Crowdfunding is the easiest way to reach creators are absolutely garbage of business.
Yes.
Way too many people looking at comics as a quick, easy stepping stone to Netflix deal and freak out when they get a taste of what it actually takes. Now,
I wanted to address that last one.
Okay.
What do you need Netflix for? So you I don't know if you guys have seen my buddy Manny, his Harrenberg show. Have you seen? So I'll send you some of the videos. But he does a superheroine video series called Harrenberg. He has a comic book, and it's done on a budget. I mean, it's shocky, it's campy, but it's something to get out there, and you didn't have to go through Netflix to do it.
Right.
So there are all these smaller streaming servers that are popping up, like Heroes Live TV. I don't know if you guys ever talk about that one. I'll send you that stuff too. He's actually trying to turn it into a digital comic platform also, and it has movies and things like that on there too. But like pump up these other services and try to do something. Like it doesn't have to be this massive, big, giant Avengers Endgame thing. It could be just you walking into a comic shop and talking to the comic store owner about his experiences and your experience as a customer and as a creator, just to get some information out there and things like that. I mean, let's stop trying to chase the $1 million deal that's probably never going to happen for you. Like how many people have we seen on Facebook that had deals in place that where nothing ever happened for years? It was the Tom Ross's book, Black Alpha. I mean, he had a movie deal, he had a TV series deal. Nothing ever came of it because all those things started to dry up when people weren't looking for those indie books anymore, and they started, we'll just make our own comic book stuff. Why do we need you to give us an IP when we can just make up something that's very similar to what you were doing, but not call it what you're calling it? So it's like it's like we have to stop chasing waterfalls, like TLC said, and build our own ponds and things. I mean, we can do it. It's possible.
Well, the thing is, we don't have a name to draw on, right? And I don't mean as an illustrator. I mean, we are not the A-listers, whether it's comics, whether it's movies, whether it's TV, right? We don't have enough of a crowd that will follow us to whatever platform that we are on that can be traded upon. So until you are dealing in the tens of thousands of units, don't even think about that.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, on a monthly basis, can people get lucky? Yeah, people can get lucky. I'm not going to say no. Right. but you're getting into this to make comics. And Jeff Smith, creator of Bone, always said, how do you become a success in comic books? Well, when he was asked that question, he said, oh, you make more comics. Just make more comics, right? Grind it out. Grind it out. Create more content. Stop eating with your eyes.
Right.
I have been guilty of that. I'm not going to say I'm not. Right? I could have had a hell of a lot more books in my catalog had I not tried to make a video game years ago.
Yep.
Had I not attempted to do toys on multiple times. And I'm still trying to do it because at this point, I've invested so much money. I need to recoup those funds.
Right.
And try to find out ways of either A, building a better mousetrap, or trying to establish another pillar when you haven't even established one.
Right.
And that is creating a catalog.
Right.
Your catalog is your resume. That is your business card. You need that catalog, man. I've got maybe 40 books printed at this point in over 15 years. That's not a good fucking track record. It's
How many books?
About 40 individual issues.
In 15 years?
In 15 years, yeah.
Well, listen, that's better than a lot.
Yeah.
Most dudes don't get past that second or third issue. Like, that's like, if you can get past 3.
I think part of that is because they didn't realize how hard this was.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
And this is difficult. You're not just creating, you're managing. You're managing people who are working with you to produce this product, right? And then once you've produced the product, you've got to publish that product. And that means you're managing a whole other set of people.
Right.
Right.
And then you have to market that product, which is
and
another.
then you got to market that product, right? And then you got to travel that product. We're like wrestlers and independent rock bands. The one problem is, wrestlers only have to travel with a stack of photos to make money. They're selling their body. Rock bands, they usually got the team with them from whatever town they're at, traveling in the same van to whatever county or country they're going to work a show for hot dogs, right? And here we are, like fucking boneheads, paying people to rent a table that is shittier than shit, that will barely support the merchandise you're putting on there for a couple $100 for the weekend, to sleep at a shitty place, to maybe sometimes even sleep in your car, and those logistics got to be factored in there. And you're traveling with a hell of a lot of merch because you got to look at it as, okay, have I got enough with me to cover my expenses? Have I got enough with me, to have made money on? Have I got enough money? Have I got enough merch with me to start to generate revenue to produce the next capital to produce the next project?
But this is why I consider conventions to be a no-go for the most part for me, unless they're really, really local.
Okay.
Because the thing is like, okay, let's say what's the show up in the Mohegan Sun up there in
Terrificon.
Terrificon. I sold 300 books at Terrificon.
Look at that.
Okay, but what did that bring in? 1,500 roughly?
Just about. But the problem is travel. So that once again you're getting hit in the other pocket with getting there. It's an 8-hour trip.
Right.
From here to Connecticut.
But let's break it down. Let's say you made, just for argument's sake, let's say you made $3,000.
Yeah.
The table was what, $300?
Yeah.
All right, so $300. All right, so now we're down to 2,700. You drove 8 hours.
Yeah.
Gas is expensive. That both ways, what, $200?
Yeah.
Tolls, another 100?
No, we didn't do tolls. We skipped the tolls. But if you wanted to get there faster, tolls. Yeah.
Tolls, right. Okay,
then,
so
Airbnb was $125 a day, and that was 3 or 4 days. So yeah.
Right. So there's another $500.
Yeah.
Right.
But the good thing is that the Airbnb provided dinner, so we didn't have to pay for food.
Oh, nice.
We didn't pay for dinner. So
you don't have to pay for dinner. All right. So so you're talking 500. You're talking $300 a table, $500. There's $1,000 on travel and stay.
Yeah.
Additional incidentals, another 200.
Yeah.
And now, the additional cost of the merch.
Yes.
that you just sold,
Right.
another $200 or $300,
Mhm.
maybe more.
Yep.
Right. So you have 1,500.
Mhm.
If you made 3,000, maybe you walked away with 1,200.
Yeah.
Right, which isn't bad. But how many creators actually do that? Not many.
No.
You hear
Not-
many people just say, "I made my table." Right? That's
Yes.
the banner.
Yes. Yes.
That's the war cry. I made table.
Right.
Right? And if you don't do that on the first day, you're screwed.
Right.
Because if you're doing that on Sunday, you're
fucked.
out of
Right.
pocket.
But now you got to look at it, the entirety of the event, and what are your goals going into the event? Is it financially driven? Right? Are you looking to acquire future customers? Are you looking to network?
Yeah.
Are you looking to talk to some of the local retailers
That too. Yep.
who are trying to unload merch at that place, and
Mhm.
maybe, in setup time or downtime, you're able to do business with them that you wouldn't be able to do, when, hey, listen, it's Tuesday. I'm calling up and I want to send you a PDF of my book when 50 or 60 other people are doing that. Right now, you got FaceTime with them. I mean, how much is that worth to you?
Right.
And
that's the ultimate goal in those shows, is not only to hit the ones at the show, but to find all the ones surrounding that area that you can hit. Also, can't make it to the show because they couldn't afford it.
Like, who's going to be there? Like, all right, dude, going back to offset printing for a second, another use for all those extra copies that you have of a book. Well, you know what? Now you're signing people up for a newsletter, right?
Yes.
And to get them to sign up for the newsletter, you're incentivizing them with either a digital copy, which I have done for years. And yes, that works, right? I got a junky, beat up old iPad that we get them to type their email address in, and then boom, we shoot them a digital copy. But now with offset printing, you can do that, man. And it's costing you what, 80 cents to get somebody who may turn into a future purchase on one of your either pre-orders, your crowdfunding campaigns, and they could drop anywhere between $5 to $100. Is that worth 80 cents for you? Is that worth doing that event and signing up 300 people who maybe 10%, 30 people will lead to a couple $100 in sales for you on your next launch?
But you just said it yourself. You just cost yourself $240 at 80 cents a book times 300. There's $240. You just said you made 200. You made a couple $100. You're out $40 plus your time and your energy. I mean, I'm just poking holes. I hear what you're saying.
You're poking. Yeah, right. But see, I'm throwing arbitrary numbers out there, right? Can we break this down? Fuck yeah, we could break this down.
But I think one of your goals of going to those shows and not to do it alone. If you're going by yourself, you're probably coming out in the hole. You got to share that table with other people and just share that cost.
Or at least the living accommodations and the gas and that sort of thing.
Right. Like you're going as a group, so you're sharing the Airbnb, you're sharing the table, you're sharing the gas. So if you can get a solid group of people going to these shows together, it makes it much more worth it for you because you're going to at least come back with something.
Right. See, I'm the opposite of that. And I'm not trying to say that I'm making that much dough, but when I'm going to these shows, like I'm doing when I last C2E2 I did before the pandemic, I brought two guys down there with me. I flipped the bill on travel expenses and everything because for me, it's worth it having them there capitalizing on.
I didn't get invited. I didn't get invited.
Well, this is before I knew you, dude.
You still got invited. Even though
Plus, hold on a second. You don't drive, dude.
I do drive. People crazy.
Like I'm driving. The first con of the year I'm doing next year is going to be MegaCon. We're driving out there.
I'll see you there.
Nice. See, now for me, check this, right? Travel expenses. Let's break this down quickly. Am I going to pay $500 plus renting a car for a week, $800 when I'm out there? Or am I just going to, spend money to ship merch out there when I could just rent the car from here for 2 weeks, for $800, cover my gas, cover the travel, save money on shipping expenses. And I'm going to use the car when I'm out there the rest of the week anyways. So we're hauling ass, me and the wife. And That's it. You know, I mean,
I think in some cases you take a bath on one, but
You
then what you end up doing is that you have to skip another show. So
yeah.
we're not going to do Terrificon this year. We're going to do NeoCon in Ohio instead. It's a 1 day show, and it's like an hour away from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But now, making up the difference of missing out on that show, people need to remember: don't overlook, your local church basement con.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an arbitrary term. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not just there; it's the one in the synagogues. It's the one in the Best Western Hotel. That it's $50 for the table for the weekend, and it's 25 minutes to an hour from where you're at, and you get to practice your pitch. That's another goal.
Yeah,
right. That you need to factor into conventions. Are you practicing the delivery?
We did one in a basketball stadium in Beckley, West Virginia, and killed. We killed. Yeah, like a CosCon or something like that. Like just kill. Like that was one we weren't expecting to do very well there. It was just going because it was cheap, it was close, and it allowed us to hit stores. But man, we sold a lot of books at that show.
Nice.
I mean, now, but the thing, all right, like I said, there's a lot of initial setup costs, right?
Yeah.
Like let's start off. All right, let's start off from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Let's pretend. We'll start with this one first. Let's pretend you already have a script, right? You got a script, you got an idea, you got an IP worked out in your head. You're like, okay, what's next? I got to find an artist, right? Now, if you guys are starting off fresh, for some reason everything burnt down and you had to start off scratch, where would you guys start?
Probably Facebook. Facebook has a lot of art groups. Deep in art, like, I mean, the things that we use in the past to draw, like digital webbing, is where I found Mark.
Agreed.
If you remember Pencil Jack, that was another one. Those things are all
Pencil Jack. Wow.
I think digital webbing is still up, but I don't think people like post there. There's a few. I think there's a Facebook group for digital webbing now. But I mean, it's, to me, honestly, it's easier to find an artist now than it was then, because Google exists, and you can pretty much find pages, because most artists have pages now, and you're just searching penciler, and you're going to get pops because of the algorithms are going to find that word in multiple websites. So you're going to find someone quicker now than you did before. But then the challenge entails is that if the person doesn't like the script or isn't into it for the long haul, then you're going to essentially have to go find an artist. But to me, and you've got Fiverr, Upwork. Right. You've got a lot of options out there for finding artists now. It's to me, it's easier now to find an artist. But is that person going to be in your corner for the past 10 years like Mark has been with me?
Right.
That's another thing you may not.
That's true.
On that person. So I'm sorry, what was the question? If everything burnt down,
you have to start from scratch. Right now, all right, let me throw this in real quick. Right now, aside from finding an artist, right, what type of budget should you start out with? Right, like what type of budget would you say? Okay, I'm gonna go to work, or I'm gonna go to my grandma and say, Grandma, I need to borrow some money, right? Or or the guy in the corner who's gonna charge you a 20% vig, right? How much do you go to that person for? Right? Are you gonna start off? Do you need $2,000? Do you need $5,000? Do you need $10,000?
What, 2 to 3?
Okay, that's fair.
That's just for the art. I mean, it depends. Or can this guy ink his own pencils?
Right.
So you could probably save a couple of dollars if they can ink and pencil. But what if you can find someone who can do pencils, ink, and colors?
Yep. Correct.
So now you
$1.75 a page, and
how much you say?
$1.75 a page.
For what? For pen, ink, and color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know somebody who offered me that price that does mainstream work. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I mean, because I've seen guys go as low as $55 a page.
For all three?
All three.
Okay.
But you got to understand, I mean, we're dealing with people that don't live in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, if something happens, you're not going to be able to track them down. You're not going to be able to grab them by the collar. But like, what's wrong with you? Right? You're not going to be able to do that.
Right.
But
I mean, that's where you run into that trust factor that I think is really going to be really difficult, because I'm pretty sure we've all run into artists that have just like, oh, I'm interested, and then they do some stuff, and then you never hear from them again.
I've been burnt.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
going to sit here and I'm just going to continuously praise Mark for sticking for 10 years, and I could just email him at any time, like, hey, let's do this now. It's I don't know. I feel bad for people who can't find an artist that is willing to work with them for years.
Well, going back to the original question, if everything burnt down and I had to start from scratch, I'm taking my money and I'm opening up a pizzeria.
Weed shop.
So you're going to go down the harder route because you're going to open up a pizzeria in New York.
Well,
Bro, I will take 99-cent corner shitty pizza in New York over what I think is good pizza at almost anywhere else in the country. Yeah, I'm including you, Jersey. So
I thought you were going to talk about Chicago again.
No, they best pizza comes from Jersey.
Oh man, Chicago pizzas.
Yeah. No, but you know, yeah, is it a lot? If I knew how hard it was from the beginning, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But having all of the resources today, it's a lot easier than it was even 5 years ago. Yeah. Let alone 10, 15, 20. You know,
back in the America Online days. Yeah, that's
America Online. Yeah, that's, but you know,
try the phone book days.
it took the internet a while to catch up with this also, and it took a while for the people who are in self-publishing to find a way to navigate the internet, right? And I know JD, we spoke about this a lot, where prior to the internet and prior to the distributor wars, it was a lot easier to get into comic books. Mm-hmm. And we hear about, Ninja Turtles sold 3,000 copies in that first one. Well, shit, you were selling more than that, you know? And they got lucky. Somebody found them and wanted to
make toys,
sell their stuff into mass media. And right here we are. And this is the funny thing about Netflix and or people that are interested in Netflix or streaming their product. It's hard enough to figure this out, how to make a comic book and how to sell a comic book. It's taken me 15 years. You think I got another 15 plus years to figure out how to get into Netflix, how to do? No, I will build this up. Maybe somebody comes around and tries to market us, tries to pitch us, somebody who understands that industry. Yeah. And if they don't, okay. Right. But it's my job to build up my crowd. Right. I don't know, how's the Ripperverse guy doing? Is the second issue coming out yet? How much is that fund for?
Well, he's still in the first issue. He's like I don't know. I haven't checked. I'm like,
I was talking about this with another friend of mine, and he brought up who actually is investing in that, because you look at the things don't add up. Just saying, things don't add up.
I mean, I think, isn't he a rapper? So he has a huge fan base, right? And I think it's his fans from that community that are backing him.
Right, but he's got some investment on that.
Okay,
somebody put some money into that.
Okay,
I'm sure, but you know, I mean,
not a little bit of money either. Not a little bit.
No, I'm sure. But the thing is, what, he had 40,000 backers?
Yeah.
At $45 a pop at the base.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it still comes out to 1.8 million.
Right.
I mean, you have higher levels, so obviously you had a bunch of people, that's why you got up to 3 million.
I'm not knocking the guy's success. Not at all. Fuck it, you made your dough. God bless. Mm-hmm. Whether he has investors or not.
Right.
The thing is, though, he came to it with, hey, my followers, I have this product.
Right.
They bid on that, man. They chomped on that.
Yeah, it's just like the Keanu Reeves thing, Berserker, right? Raised $2 million. Why? Because of Keanu Reeves, right? Matt King, great writer, right? But he's done campaigns. He maybe hits 50, 60,000, 70,000, I think. You know, and let me tell you, he deserves it. He's a fantastic writer.
Mhm.
But would he have made $2 million without Keanu Reeves? No.
Right.
Because Keanu's the draw. He's
Right.
the
Exactly. I mean, even though Wesley Snipes was out there selling, I think he only made up to a couple 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Still, he made six figures, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
like, how many times have you heard stories about, oh, this celebrity wore this person's T-shirt or whatever on this show or this red carpet or this talk show, and the next day it was sold out.
Yeah.
Right. The craze was, oh, you can't find this anywhere. Why? Because it was on the draw.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right. We don't have that yet. We got to build that out.
Right.
All right. So everything's burnt down. You have to start from the beginning, Jay. Where are you finding your people?
Oh, like Marvin said, I'm finding them on Facebook. Definitely a place where I can on my own time review the pages, respond to people appropriately, as opposed to a convention looking at somebody's stuff there. You know, things get awkward. So starting on Facebook first, maybe Twitter. I'm not a Twitter guy. I know people on Twitter.
Instagram. Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram too. But Instagram, Facebook, it's the same thing today at this point.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, for myself, I mean, I DeviantArt is my place. That's where I found Jade. I found a bunch of artists there. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, with Marvin, I mean, I think we've been together 12 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even want to count. I'm getting scared. It's like it might be 14 now. It's just like, what the hell? It's been a long time. So, all right. So we got to the point. We found a creator. We found a budget, $3,000. Now that's one comic.
Yep.
Right. So you got to go out, and now you need additional funds to print it and sell it. Right. Now, are we pulling that out of our pockets? Are we doing a Kickstarter? Are we hand selling it to stores, just printing up 50 copies and hand selling them to stores? What are we doing? Right? Like how?
I think when you think about something like that, you jump into the pool all the way and do it all.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go out and you're going to spend the kind of money you'll spend to do offset printing to get that many books. That gives you that flexibility to do the stores, to do the Kickstarter, to do anything you need to do to push that book out. I mean, that's always going to be the hardest part for any creator is I made the book, I printed the book. How the hell do I sell it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you guys seen prices going down for printing? Have you seen like the paper shortage start to ease off?
No.
On printing. Marvin?
My printer seems to always have paper, so I haven't run into the paper shortage yet.
Okay.
But my costs have been the same. So I mean, he hasn't rose prices up on me at all. So I mean, I haven't really, it hasn't really hit me. And now that I mean, we can talk about the diamond thing later. But I mean, you're going to see some kind of increase in cost. Like my boxes and things went up. Tape is up.
Right.
Bubble wrap is up.
Yep.
I use like paper to fill gaps in boxes and things like that. That's up. So I'm feeling it no matter what. But I like it. Well, as far as printing costs are pretty much where they were before.
Okay, that's fair. Now, you brought it up, so let's talk about Diamond. I mean, I've had experience dealing with them. Yeah. I know Jay's been trying to work with them. I mean, he's having, he's still doing what he's doing. But you went through a publisher, right?
Yeah.
And now you've been picked up as your own publisher.
Yeah.
So how's that? Now, going through let's start with the publisher. We don't have to talk about the publisher, what happened, but like, how was that process? Like, what was going on? How did they treat you, or how did it feel?
Well, I think that I mean, you got treated middle of the road, I think, because you have your top lines, you have your Marvel, you have your DCs, you have your Image, and then you have your Booms, your Dark Horse, your Avatar, and then you got everyone else. So when you're at the bottom of the tier, you're not going to get the same attention as the guys on the top of the tier. Right. But from my experience, that they've been very fair, very more communicative than I thought they were before. But I don't know if that's because of the loss of Marvel and DC, and they lost Boom also.
Are they
They,
already?
they lost IDW.
Oh, IDW.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, because Boom was on the cover last month.
Right.
Yeah, Boom is with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't know if that's changed the way they are doing their communication, but they've been very communicative with me since we joined, which was just this week. I finally got the email back after waiting a month. But I know that some people waited 6 months because they changed their process and didn't tell anyone. So people are still mailing packages in when they're doing digital now.
Ah,
There might be a problem, bro.
way to go, me. Okay.
But they weren't communicating that. He just says, not your fault.
Right. So it seems like someone went into the office, saw a bunch of packages, and started emailing people. So you didn't get an email, I assume. So I would just hit them up on the submissions email, and the one who Caitlin was the wrong responder, and she responded right away.
Okay.
So so that works out. But so what I want to say is that we have until November 1st to get our books in for listing, which means that we would go into the January catalog. And when I started talking to Grant, he does the Beowulf book. And I was talking about going to Diamond. I said that from my experience and my perspective, it's not a long-term thing. This is a get in, get what you need, and then try to go direct to stores if you can.
Okay.
You're taking 60% off the top.
Yep.
Which means that you have absolutely no choice but to get your print costs down, because there's no way you can sell a book you can print something for $2.50, sell it for $4, and get $1.60 back.
Right.
You're killing yourself. So print costs have to come down right away. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. So now you're dealing with communication. Stores have to know I'm going to be in this catalog. Catalog is smaller now because of you don't have Marvin Wynn in that, but it's still a phone book of information.
Mm-hmm.
So as a store, generally they're looking for number ones. I'm looking for number ones. I'm looking for what's new, what's number one. They're going to order number ones. You're going to get that out the way. You're going to get probably a decent order of number ones if the covers look good, because you're just buying the cover right then because that's what you want to see. It's that second issue that's going to murder you. So dealing before, and there was such a screw up with issue 1 getting to the stores, I got hit hard with issue 2. I picked back up a little bit with issue 3 and issue 4, which never came out. So now I'm in a position to say, okay, I have to get my respect back from these stores. So now I have to get in contact with them and say, hey, we're going to do number 1 again. I need to know what you need as an incentive to buy this book.
Okay.
Now here's a question for you. Now, from 1 to 2, what type of drop off did you see? Did you see 40%, 50%, 60%?
About 45%.
45%.
Right. And a lot of the stores told me point blank, the other book was late. People were waiting for it. They weren't happy. They weren't interested in ordering issue 2. So now the ball's in my court. It's my responsibility now, which means that I'm going to make sure that not only are things get in their own time, I'm going to hit those stores the day the book comes out and say, hey, issue 2 is ready to go. Let's get those orders in. Let's get those orders in. But now you put yourself in a position now where, and I think Aftershock had the best idea with their street team.
Mm-hmm. No, what are they doing?
They have like ambassadors to go to each store.
That's key. That is key.
And talk to them about the new things that are coming out, and they bring swag. So balloons, pins, like disposable stuff you can pack in a bag and take it to the store, and then they get first dibs on variants, things like that. So not only are you taking swag to the store, but you're giving swag to that person. So they have, I don't know if they have one in every state, but I know some of the guys, and I'm talking to them about helping me out by hitting stores I can't get to. So in California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, to travel to these stores that I can't get to and say, hey, blah, blah, is coming out. There's some swag there, so you'll remember when it comes out. when I go to do my diamond order, hey, that's the ink pen, it's the Edge or Comicsburg on it. So now I remember I need to put my order in, because calling the stores was good. Having someone walk into that store is better.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because that's an immediate recognizing that someone is willing to take the time to come and talk to you. They like the phone calls.
Mm.
Someone in that store is 100% better, even though the calls are a good thing.
Mm. Now, how many books are you putting out when you go with Diamond?
We are putting out 2 books. So we're going to do The Edge and the Beowulf book.
Gotcha.
Grant wants to hold. He has a horror anthology that he wants to put out next October. So that one's off the table for right now. And that's all we're going to do for a while. Like, we've got 2 or 3 other books that are part of the Comicsburg brand that we'll try to slowly bring in. But I mean, there's no rush.
Mm. Are you doing monthly, bi-monthly? What type of schedule are you looking at?
Quarterly. Not
Quarterly.
touching it. No, nothing to do with it. I could, but it just doesn't work for me, because when you're pitching a monthly book, the book issue 1's coming out when you're starting to have to pitch issue 2.
Right.
Which means that someone has to say, yeah, I love issue 1, give me issue 2 right away. This gives them time for it to marinate a little bit with them, and it gives you more time in their ear to say, hey, issue 2 is coming out in a couple more months. What do you people think? Can we get orders right now, or do you want to wait until FOC for that next issue for me to get in contact with you?
Mm. Gotcha.
It works if someone's coming looking for a book. It doesn't work if someone's coming looking for that book every month.
Right. Now, are you doing alternative covers, or are you just going with your straight one cover?
We're going to do new covers for the Diamond Run.
Mm. No. I mean, are you doing more than one cover? That's what I mean.
So we do multiple covers for each issue, no matter what, anyway. Because I do a little bit of I like this one, don't like this one so much, and then it becomes a pinup or something. But now we want to incentivize the stores by sending them special covers. Depending on order this many, you get this. As long as you're ordering something, you stay in the network. I'm sending you something out for free, like every couple months or so.
Nice.
That's cool. Carlos says, quarter is the way to go with Diamond unless you have inventory issues. Now, you're printing multiple books. As you know, Rosario and I were involved with something where we printed a lot of books.
Yeah.
And the key to doing that, and we got burnt, but that's for a whole other issue. But we got burnt, but we mitigated that cost by printing all these books at the same time, printing them all together. We got a really good price for them.
Yeah.
And the only thing that drove up the price was the paper shortage started hitting just as we were going, because I think at one point those books were 50 cents a book, 32 pages, full color. I think it was 70 pound or 80 pound on the interior and like 100 pound on the cover, something like that. Full color throughout. And we only got that price because we printed so many books. It was 27,000 books. So a lot of books. So I mean, do you see your printer giving you any type of breaks if you bring in, those types of, like right now you're just doing 2, but if you brought in a third book and a fourth book, do you see your printer giving you those types of breaks?
Yeah, well, I mean, the volume breaks are always are baked into their calculator. So I mean, at current cost right now, 2,000, 3,000 books is right around 80-90 cents.
Right.
So I mean, if we start pumping up more, what happens if we print 10,000 books? We get 50, 60 cents. So I mean, that's always in the back of your head of, as long as I feel like I can move these books, which we can, you might as well go ahead, just go for broke and just start printing as many as you can just to get the cost down. That way that money can roll over easier with costs whenever that check comes back from the distributor.
Which is not for at least 6 months, or is it 4 months?
Yeah.
Is it that Diamond is paying out 120 days?
I haven't got that far yet, but I know that they've done up front for sometimes.
Oh,
they've done up front?
That's rare. That's
What?
In some cases.
Yeah. I didn't know they had the operating capital at the moment to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
because back in the day when I was doing it, there was it was usually 30 days after delivery.
Mm-hmm.
So you deliver, and then you have 30 days, and then they'll cut you a check right at the end.
Yeah.
Those 30 days, and believe me, it was not day 29; it was day 30. They cut it, right? The only way, and Rosario's heard me say this before. I don't even know if they utilize this anymore, but it was something we used back in the day. It was called 2 and 10, right?
You love that. You love talking about that 2 and 10.
Let me tell you, you need your financing. You need it now.
I get it.
Bro, what it is you offer them 2% off that invoice, whatever the invoice is. So if I don't know, you got a $2,000 invoice, they'll get 2% off of that invoice, but they send you that check within the first 10 business days.
Mm-hmm.
So that way at least you get it, you get your running capital that much faster.
Right.
Because back in the day when I was doing it, it was more important that I got the money, guys, and to recoup whatever I was getting, putting out.
Well, like I say, is that it's a market test to me, and I just see how things are going to roll. And I mean, it's all about building relationships to me, and we want to build relationships with the customers and the retailers, because what I don't like seeing is these stores closing, and that's the reality is now is that we like stores open and then 2 close. So it's
Right.
you have a shrinking market.
Do they give you the current number of stores that are in operation in the U.S. and Canada right now, or no?
Well, I know what all the stores are.
Okay.
But
And
they may have something I don't know. So we're going to find, as soon as I get into the system, I'll know what they have.
Okay.
All right. Well, Carlos brings up something interesting. He says, "Or you get someone who will print it for you, like the new Remarkables coming from another publisher." All right. So, Marvin, you've dealt with a publisher, right? How do you feel about that? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Instead of trying to figure out what the best path is that if you're dealing with a publisher that knows what they're doing, knows the path, and stays on it,
Mm-hmm.
you can pretty much get a good deal because they're paying for your printing costs.
Right.
But at the same time, if your book's not moving, that cost is going to come back to you because they paid for books that aren't moving.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it's an up and down. I mean, you're still having to market your own stuff because no one can sell your book like you can.
Right.
They can pay for as many ads as they want, but you still have to be the one in front of the book selling it because sometimes they're more interested in you as a person than they are as that book. Like that's what that hustle is. You're selling yourself, and you're saying, "Hey, here's my story, and here's my book about what the things that are going on in my life is in this book. So if you want to know about me, read my book."
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when you go beyond selling your story, right? And this is not me trying to target you. This is you brought that up, and it's like, okay, yeah, because a lot of the people come into this saying, "Oh, I'm going to tell Captain America's story from my perspective," whatever the case is. And I'm saying that yes, I have done that, right? Captain America's story from my perspective.
Right.
What happens when you grow beyond that as your selling point? Does that mean that you're developing as a publisher, as a writer, or does that mean that your perspective is maybe not as interesting as you thought it was to sell the product?
I think it's both, and I think that it gets to a point where everyone's heard your story, so now the characters in the book have to sell the book, the art in the book has to sell the book, the writing has to sell the book, the lettering, everything as that package has to sell the book eventually on its own, because you're not always going to be in front of it. Like when that book is somewhere in Hawaii, you can't do anything about how that book's selling. So the book has to sell itself then. You can't help it then. And I think that's where that street team thing comes into play also, is that you have a umbilical cord out there to another person who you've given the pep talk or the information that they can sell that book as a proxy through you. But but that's not always going to be the case either. So that book has to eventually, at the end of the day, has to be something that someone's going to say, I want to pick this up every time I see it.
Is AWA the only one that uses ambassadors?
Aftershock.
Aftershock.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think it's a great. I think it's a great idea. You know.
I know. Are you
can't be everywhere at once.
Doesn't Bad Idea?
Bad Idea?
Yeah, don't they also use ambassadors?
I thought Bad Idea was done.
No, they got another slew of books coming out.
Oh, get out of here. Okay.
They use empty slabs as their ambassadors.
Oh, okay, I have no idea what they're doing.
Well, I know that new publisher, Band of Bards. I know they're developing a street team. It's on their website.
I'm sorry, Band of Bars.
Bards.
Bards. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's they're new. They're published. Daniel Caliban's American Dream.
Oh yeah.
They're publishing that book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
So that's his company, or he's rolling with.
No, they're publishing his book. Yeah, Band of Bards. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like maybe a year old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
So I mean, like I said, you want to develop relationships between people who are buying your book, people who are in the stores, and the people who are running those stores, and just continuously try to stay in contact and communication. I know it's the hardest thing in the world to communicate with someone in the internet age because people don't like to answer their phones anymore. But like, and the funny part is that most of these people are using their cell phones now for their stores contact. So
really?
guess what? I can text you now. And then like you build relationship with like people on YouTube. Like, you guys know Bueller, Comics with Bueller?
Yes, he's still doing his tour.
Yep.
Okay.
So I finally met him in West Virginia last month.
Oh wow.
He's a fan, so he can take the message to all these stores he's going to.
Nice.
So I mean, that's where I think your bread and butter is in this electronic media now, and people just believing in you as a person, your book, and they're going to help promote it for you. Like so, I did. I don't know if you saw this. I did a Spine Ticks variant for issue 5 of The Edge. So it's a YouTube channel, and the guy from Spine Ticks, his name is Sif Lordley, paid for the variants and then donated the money back to me. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now you're doing are you doing the $5 cover price for them, or are you down?
Yeah, we did $5. Yeah.
$5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and the book, like we did a 50 run, and the book sold out, so we're going to do another run because people were talking about this. The people didn't get a chance to get it, so we're going to do some more. So I mean, it's just cultivating relationships, and those are the things that happen. Like it's business. It's business. Yeah, exactly.
So all right, now I was a vendor before. Mm-hmm. Now with comic books, I was a beer vendor for a long time, and we used to incentivize stores supermarket chains by buying our beers by giving them tickets to local ball games. Mm-hmm. Now I know that is pricey for us, right? And nowadays, baseball game ticket for two, you're looking at maybe $100, right? At least for the Yankees, right? For good seats. But what along those lines, if you scale it down, could you do to incentivize some retailers?
So I mean, you're looking for something to sponsor. So what can we sponsor? What is that store interested in sponsoring? A free comic book day for children. Children come into the store, you get Pokemon cards or something like that, and you're sponsored by this person from this company for this book. So what we talked about doing, and it's kind of weird how things happen. So we've been talking about for a while going to the local crafts guild and doing classes on comic books.
Okay.
So we were at a show a couple weeks ago. It was a show for a bar called Spirit, and they do a summer fest. So we were there selling comics. Not that the person who runs the arts guild came up to our table started talking about the art skill, and I said, "Hey, we've been thinking about doing some of that." She says, "Oh, okay, let's talk." So it's just those situations that you get in where you're not expecting those kind of things to happen, and they just fall into your lap almost. So then you say, okay, so we're going to sponsor an art skill. We're going to sponsor doing a comic. You're going to learn how to do comic books from beginning to end, with the marketing and all that stuff included. Can you sponsor local bands? Like local bands are in the same position that we are, trying to sell a product that no one knows exists. Can you sponsor that? Like they do small shows at bars and that. Can you sponsor that show? And again, this is who's sponsoring this, and you have some books on hand ready to say everybody gets a free book.
Well, no, I was thinking more along the lines of, let's say, store A sold the most copies for you that month.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are you saying thank you and getting them opening night tickets to the latest popular movie?
Yeah,
right.
Well, yeah, that's an idea too. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. We're along those lines. Can they do stuff for their employees? Right? Can you provide them with things that they can use to incentivize their good employees? Can you do things to incentivize their customers? Not saying quid pro quo, but also saying quid pro quo. Right? One here marks the other.
Right. So, and a lot of that stuff you can roll back too, because if you use Square or Wix or anything like that, you can generate gift cards.
Okay. Okay.
Those programs, and that's just your back into your cost of doing business.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but going back to the original question, right?
We go on tangents, baby.
I know we've gone all over the place.
We're going everywhere.
And we've been touching a lot on direct selling to stores and that sort of thing. We haven't even talked about Kickstarter or Indiegogo or Zoop or any of these different platforms available to us. Where most of it, I know for myself, that's where I'm making a bulk of my earnings is those platforms, because I have to be honest with you, I've done the direct selling to retailers a number of years ago, and I'm tired, right? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get in touch with 200 stores and you have 200 stores say, yeah, we'll pick up your book, that's fantastic.
Yep.
That's 200 packages you got to pack up.
Right.
And I mean, and then it's 200 invoices, on top of it. It's not like
you're not doing a major distributor, but yeah.
Right. But no, but that's what I'm saying. If you're doing it all yourself, right? Now, if you go through Diamond, it does make it a lot easier because one focal point. You're shipping everything there. They're going to break it down, do whatever they got to do.
Yeah.
It's no different than doing Kickstarter, except you're at least getting the funds from one place.
Yeah.
You don't have to issue 200 invoices or whatever the case may be.
Right, but then you're still back into your logistics, and you can also have a tier in Kickstarter for retailers, so they can come in and grab things if they feel the need to get them from your Kickstarter. But I mean, it's just another avenue of doing the same kind of business almost. It's like you're either going to direct to a person or direct to a store through crowdfunding. I mean, it all works together, and it's good that you have that flexibility to do more than one thing, and they don't feel slighted in the way, because a lot of retailers won't do a Kickstarter because they don't want to wait for product.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why that's why I preach. Make sure you have your book finished before you put up your Kickstarter.
Right.
And that's always been a thing.
I wish everyone would do that. I wish.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But a lot of people feel like this is Kickstarter is to fund the book.
Yeah.
Not just to fund the printing. It's to fund it from the ground up, and for some is to pay for their lifestyle. So right.
Mansions and Maseratis, baby. You got to see my car and my mansion.
There you go. So that's the money you had when you were burning those $100 bills for the cigars. That's from the Kickstarter.
I'm actually in the south wing of my mansion right now.
With my cool toilet seats.
Geez. Yeah, that's why he never invites me over, because he knows I would rip off like the first part of that seat and run off.
Yeah, you just need a chip.
You never leave, bro. You'd never leave, man. That's why I can't let you in.
So
your wife would be like, keep him. Keep him a week. Keep him for like a week. It's all right.
Yeah. Your ass is unrefined. You can't sit on my toilet seat. I'm sorry. It's got to be blessed first by a priest.
Yeah. En nomine Patri, who's Spiritus Sanctus.
You are blessed, my child. You may sit.
But when it comes to crowdfunding platforms, I want to go back to the draw that I mentioned earlier, right? And yes, there are a number of other crowdfunding platforms, and or going direct through PayPal, like this guy Ripper did, or GoFundMe's or whatever the case. The reason why Kickstarter is the biggest success story is because they've had quite a number of draws, signing people up for the platform. And if anybody has run a crowdfunding at all, at least half of the people that you are pitching your book to are asking, what is Kickstarter? What is Indiegogo? What is now? What is Zoop?
I had to walk a few people through on the Kickstarter.
Right, and you got to go through the steps, and you're pitching that so much. By the time you talk about your book, you may have lost that person, right? So the ease of not access, but the ease of people on the platform is one of the biggest draws for using Kickstarter, I feel. So I'm not knocking the.
I was already told you have to bring with Zoop. You have to bring your audience with you.
Yeah.
Same thing with Indiegogo. You got to bring your audience. You don't bring your audience, you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
But the other question is we know Kickstarter works on algorithms, right? Facebook's similar. How do we get these systems open? Like how do we, like, even like my channel here, like how do we get those algorithms to open up?
I hate when people use the algorithm as the big bad boogeyman.
Well, it's not a boogeyman. Sometimes it's an angel, bro. Because we know on the last 2 or 3 days of Kickstarter, the algorithm opens up for you, right? And the money starts rolling in those last 2, and the same thing with the first 2 or 3 days, right? So that's why I think campaign should only be 7 days.
Holy shit!
Well, I mean, it's all about engagement, right? It's like a lot of people see your posts, and the way they keep changing the way. So I get more engagement on my own profile on Facebook than I do for my page.
I do too. Yes,
it's kind of sad, like, to see that most of the people that are signed up on my page aren't seeing my posts.
Right. I've spent money on the Facebook stuff.
Right. So I think groups are the better option. If you can get people in the groups, and now you got that at everyone option.
Right.
It hits everyone. Everyone gets the message if you do at everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
But I get more engagement on Instagram than I do on Facebook or Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking now into Reddit.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm looking into doing some Reddit ads as opposed to doing Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Because I've spoken to Daphne. She says, she's doing some Facebook ads now, and she's like, the engagement is minimal.
Yes.
There's decent amount of people looking at it, but they're not popping up.
Right.
So I want to see what the differences with Reddit.
I think at a point in time you have to chase your customers, and you have to open up those other avenues. So I think TikTok is probably going to be the next road that we have to travel down.
But the problem with TikTok, man, is like, go read their terms of service, bro. They have access to everything, like in their service.
Yeah, I mean, but everything you're using on your phone now has access to everything. Like I was trying to play a game on my phone. Oh no, I was trying to listen to music on my phone for Samsung's music app, and it said it needed access to my camera and my phone. I'm like, for my calls. I'm like, why?
Right.
Why do you need access to my camera?
Right.
What the hell is that about? Like, no. So it's like you can't use that. It's like, okay, then I just won't use it.
Right. That's my goal.
Right.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Carlos hit us with a big... Damn.
Carlos booted Marvin.
Seriously. All right. Carlos says, success is always out there. A buddy of mine who started at the same time as I did at the bottom of the indie food chain released a book with trash lettering, a failed Kickstarter, and then delays. And now he has a hugely successful property that just got picked up for a TV option that was in THR. So success is possible with the right grind and a bit of luck and a good product.
Goes back to what I said. There are people that are lucky that will happen to. right?
Well, I mean, it's a matter of who sees something online.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
I'm online looking for something, and all of a sudden, what's this? This
Right.
looks like something they could sell. So you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, when you're at those conventions, try to get your like. They have all those celebrities there. Walk past their table and say, "Here, there's a book."
True enough. True enough. You know. All right, gentlemen. All right. Look, I want to. This was a special show. I was only looking to run until about 9, hour and a half, which you already hit. So I'm gonna before we close up shop though.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys. Do you guys have any other questions you want to ask?
Did you want to talk about the Walmart thing more? Walmart.
That's up to you guys. You want to talk about Walmart, Mr. Rosario? That's you.
No, it's not. You guys know enough. You guys know more about it than I do. You know, we have a couple friends involved in the Walmart stuff right now. God bless them. I don't know enough about it to actually give a solid opinion on. So you know, to those.
No,
we can talk about it on in the group, and I mean, I have my thoughts on it, and I'll show you the group. I mean, I gave you the link, right? You because you see what you can do, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the Walmart marketplace though, right? Yeah. It's not like you're gonna be in the stores.
Not in the store, no.
Right, exactly. Because when I first heard that, that's what I was afraid of. That these guys are gonna go with the stores.
Yeah.
You know, have to print up 50,000 books, returnable, and I was just like, oh my god, these dudes are gonna kill themselves. You know.
I just like I've said before is that if people are interested in going to the newsstand, I have a contact. I still do not think it's worth it unless you're printing a lot of books, because the newsstand can return the book to you by ripping the cover off, and you have to pay that money back that didn't sell. So if you're willing to eat that cost on that book, you can do it. If someone's interested in it, just like find me on Facebook or Instagram. I'll give you my contact, and you can run with it from there. But it says good luck, because I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm curious, but I think I'm going to stay out of that for right now.
Yeah, I've seen Peter Simeti has gone in length talking about it. It's really interesting stuff, and he's pretty blunt. He's pretty open about it. All the stuff he went through, you know, and how he was basically screwed out of like a lot of money because he had a lot of these. Because I think with them they weren't ripping off the covers; they would scan the barcodes, but they would hit the barcodes like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So, you know, you send them 10 books and you're getting, they're saying, oh yeah, well you owe us for 15. I'm like, but I only shipped you 10.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just, it's
so
crazy.
I think if people really want to hit those kind of things, I think you should deal with those places one-on-one. Like go past your newsstand and say, hey, would you be willing? Most of your Sunoco most of those gas stations are independently owned, which means there's no parent company you have to work through. Stop into a Sunoco and say, hey, would you be interested in putting a stack of my comics up on the counter just as a test run? I guess the medicinal marijuana places is probably a place to go to. Anything that's independently owned, just walk in, like a car dealership or anything like that. You never know.
How many people in the self-publishing comic book community are introverts, and that's not really their jam?
So that's when you hire someone to do it for you, right?
Right. Well, you know, there are a couple of distributors out there trying to do that sort of stuff. There's a couple guys. I
mean, it like in any situation, all they can do is say no. They're not going to jump over the counter and kick your ass because you asked something. All they can say is no.
Or maybe Jay's. You know, Jay's always rude. So.
Well, we don't know his work.
I'm a peach.
Yeah, he's opened up a pizza shop and he's got a baseball bat in the back.
I got the baseball bat in the car while I'm selling comics. What are you talking about?
Exactly. We're in New York. He's gonna have a baseball bat and a machete.
Yeah, baby.
Well, he's dual wielding the baseball bat and machete doing like this.
You gotta rock and roll, brother. They got it. They're the weapon. They are the weapons of the apocalypse.
Or is the machete taped to the top of the bat and you spin it around?
Yeah, there it is. The Walmart comic stand for indies was a huge bust. I'm an introvert, but my books is in 6 local shops. There you go.
Very nice, man. Very nice.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Jay, you got anything else?
No, we touched on quite a lot of stuff, and I took this serious. I didn't even drink tonight. Today was just regular water, bro. I didn't want to, I don't want to come out like the meathead that I usually come out looking like. I just think people should really know that if they're going to get into this, it's going to take a while before they start to see returns.
Yeah.
And how quickly they receive those returns depends on quite a number of factors, not just how good the product is, but how good are they at putting together the products at the same time.
Yep. And to add on to that is follow the right people and ask questions. Ask, like I tell people, it's like ask as many questions. There's no dumb questions to me. Just ask the question.
Yeah.
Just like the other example, I'm not going to kick your ass because you asked the question. I'm not going to say meet me out in the street because you asked a stupid question. We'll kick your ass today. But then listen. Listen to what the veterans in this space have to tell you about what you're doing wrong. Because I wish someone would have told me up front what was going to happen, because I made a lot of mistakes up front. I got knocked in the dirt. I would prefer to not get knocked in the dirt, but it's going to happen. So if someone gives you some advice and you still do it and you get knocked in the dirt, you go back to them and you say, what happened? I got knocked in the dirt. I told you were going to get knocked in the dirt. Don't do it.
And that doesn't matter whether it's, trying to get into retail locations or try to build a crowdfunding campaign. Listen to the people who've gone through the motions. That maybe you can.
We climbed the tree already. You don't have to climb it too.
Yeah.
We'll bring down the nuts for you. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm not bringing down the nuts for everybody. Some of these motherfuckers got to work. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys want to ride your coat, and it's just like, come on, bro. You want me to put together the whole thing for you, and you get all the proceeds? No.
Well, sometimes you gotta just hold up the ladder. It's just like, I'm gonna hold this for you, but there is a fee.
Right.
I only hold it so long.
Can't be standing here holding this ladder all day.
Yeah.
Exactly. We guys, this was fun. We'll be back next week. Like I said, we got a full boat next week. I got a bunch of people coming on, and it'll be back to the regular shenanigans. I guess Mr. Rosario will be drinking again.
Yes. Sometimes you got to, because sometimes some people are just like, "What did you just say, dude?"
Sometimes. But for my part, I'm gonna run this down real quick. I think yes, there is room to make money, but it's like Jay said, there's not a lot of it. Can you make a lot? Sure. You have to remember, a few people have done it. Now listen to what I just said. A few, right? So it's Jeff Smith, Terry Moore, Polito. I'm not even going to talk about the Image guys. I don't even want to talk about the Turtle guys.
No.
Right?
Sim, Ballant.
Right? Sim, Blant, yep.
Right? Crumb.
Crumb is in a different universe.
But still, I mean, early on to have done what he did. And I know you didn't want to talk about the Image guys, but, Larson and Valentino cut their teeth early in the fanzine days. So you can't really include them. I can't say Willingham because
he's primarily been Marvel, and he's been primarily DC for like the last 20 years.
Can't say Wagner because he went to Image after some years. But Mage and Grendel are still solid properties.
Well, Grendel's finally going to Netflix.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
They're doing the Hunter Rose.
Nice. Hopefully it sells, unlike Bone. I mean, you can get the Netflix deal, right? You said it earlier, Marvin. How many people have gotten something and then it slipped through the cracks? We almost lost the Sandman thing again.
Well, Netflix just cut loose like most of their animation team. So, I mean, it looks like to me that Disney is going to be the only one doing any all ages stuff. Everybody else is just going to be adult stuff, and it's going to crush them.
Yeah. Probably. But it's like, Obar. Okay, I don't know how many books did he do with the Crow after the movies came out? Did he keep going?
I thought he sold the property.
Yeah, very few.
Yeah.
Very few. Yeah.
Okay.
I just hope he got enough of it that that he's okay. I'm
Well,
sure he's.
they're doing another Crow movie, right?
Yeah. Joseph Michael Linsner was big in the 90s. I don't know if he's kept going.
He's a staple at Dynamite doing covers.
Yeah.
Okay. Tucci, he's starting to roll back now. I know she's finally getting an action figure after 30 years.
Yeah. He didn't even. I don't think he knew. I was on their show last week, and I brought it up, and Niall messaged me and saying, "Where'd you pre-order that she figure at?" And I gave him the link. I'm like, "You didn't know that this was."
Wow. But I mean, how long did she go on for? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, but like I said, there's money to be made. It's limited.
Yes.
Just do the best work you can do.
Yes.
Right? Make as much money as you can.
Yes.
Be artists, and and just try to be cool.
Okay. Protect your brand, and respect your customers.
Yes. Don't send them shitty packages.
Yes. Don't send them shitty packages. Like I said, I got 3 of them. One of them was
send them packages. Send them.
Yeah.
You just put like a stamp on return to sender. I don't want this.
There you go. All right, gentlemen. I think we're good for the night. Marvin, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
I'm at theedgecomic.com, at The Edge Comic on Facebook and Instagram, and at Marvin Wynn on Twitter.
All right, Mr. Rosario.
Unstoppablecomics.com. You can find all of our social links right there on the website.
All right, cool. Well, you can find me here just about every Sunday, sometimes, most of the time. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt Ola, the JD Calderon. And don't forget, Oswald Chronicles, currently on Kickstarter, so go check it out. And that's it, folks. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be interviewing Max DeVille at 8 p.m.
Nice.
Like I said, go check out the Doug Rice interview. See, Bill Willingham, I want to interview him. I don't want to interview him all at the same time.
Land him, baby. Land him.
I know. It's one of those things. But the Doug Rice interview, mad cool, Dynamo Joe.
Yeah.
Great comic from the 80s. Hopefully it'll make a comeback. And next Sunday, like I said, we have a full boat. It's going to be crazy. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, guys. Now, tonight, I will try to hit the right button instead of leaving you the room. All right. So have a good night.